Hey folks, if you're like me, you have too many social media accounts and it's super annoying to have to log into them or download all the apps and go through them. And there's like 16 different alternatives to Twitter at this point, and it's just a lot. So I figured it'd be a good idea to check out some of the APIs for social media so that we can think about how we can automate some of the checking and monitoring, or at least put them all behind a single pane of glass. And to that end, I thought we'd look at just a couple of APIs that seemed like that they would have good information about them and would be useful. One is YouTube, another is Discord, and then I want to look at an open source kind of social media aggregator similar to Buffer, or I think maybe Hootsuite, or whatever the proprietary ones are. So let's get started. This is Ants Are Everywhere, and we take a look at source code. We examine the open source world by checking out its code, and we do it without any preparation, the same way you sight read music that you've never seen before. It's just sort of an exercise to hone our skills and gradually take over the world. Okay, so here's the YouTube API site, and they have a bunch of samples that are on GitHub, and they're all 7 or 8 years old, or 6 years old. I don't know why they're so ancient. I don't know if nobody's using the YouTube API. I don't know if the YouTube API just has never changed in the last 6 years. Maybe it's stable because it's perfect the way it is. I don't know. But we'll look at it. And then here, code samples. Are these just the same ones? Maybe we'll look at code samples Python. We have a few different APIs, I think. One is this like search for content, and then there's the data API. I'm not sure which is which. They also have an implementation guide. We'll just take a quick look at this. Here is their developer page. I think this is just the same page, right? And scrolling is not working very well. Whoa. What is going on here? Here's use cases, I guess, for the data API, and we can see some of their methods. This should be just some REST API, and they have an API Explorer here, so you can try things out. So list by channel ID, by YouTube handle. Those should be basically the same method, except you're using two different ways to name the channel. Also by username, list my channel, and so on. And is that really all there is? The resources. Okay, so we have different resources we can do, and we have different methods. So instead of just kind of all being in one page, so you can see what the full API looks like, you have to toggle through these. This is maybe just because this is the playground. There's probably some better page that has what the API is. But let's say, for example, there's comments versus comment threads. Let's take a look at comments. You can list comments, and it's just some example. You have to have the parent ID as the request parameter, and you basically just curl it. I'm not going to execute it, but can we see the command? Maybe not. Okay, so that's some of the documentation. Here's some documentation for search. This is, I think, just the same thing. And this is a betterer page. We've got the resources we can work with. Activity. I don't know what an activity is. Contains information about an action that a particular user has taken on the YouTube site. User actions that are reported in activity feeds include rating a video, sharing, marking a video as a favorite, and posting a channel bulletin, among others. Okay. So these are like events. And then there's the channel itself, the channel banner, which I guess that's exposed so that you can edit it or change it programmatically. Then we have channel section. For example, a section could feature the channel's latest uploads, et cetera, et cetera. A guide category, which identifies a category that YouTube associates with channels based on their content or other indicators, such as popularity. Guide category. I'm not sure that I'm aware of this having existed before. Guide categories seek to organize channels in a way that makes it easier for YouTube users to find the content they're looking for. Okay, so this is maybe like, is this a game, or is it educational, or is it like a makeup channel? But then it also seems to have stuff like popularity. So this seems to be a richer knowledge base. I wonder if we can hop over here with one of the tabs I just closed and look at some of the operations on guide categories. Maybe. This is search. And we see some other stuff here. Playlists, sponsors, video abuse report reasons, thumbnails. Is guide category here? Where's G? I guess not. And super chat events. Okay. And then internationalization stuff, playlists, playlist item, which I guess is like one thing in the playlist, like a video in the playlist, search result, which is probably a little bit just like the regular Google search API, and subscriptions, thumbnails, video category, which is probably more like the game versus makeup channel thing I was talking about before. A watermark identifies an image that displays during playbacks of specified channel's videos. And then the operations are list, insert, update, and delete. So just standard operations for a list of resources. And you cannot insert a category or update it or delete it, but you can list them. I'm not sure why you can't. Sorry, an activity. Okay. But what about a category? You can't do anything to a guide category. So I guess that's out of your control. Maybe that's something that YouTube populates and you just get what you get and you don't get upset, as they say. All right. And then what can you do everything to? You can manage your own playlists and playlist items. You can manage your own videos. I guess you can add them. I don't know how that works if you upload a video. So where are the verbs here? Update or insert. So update is post. Insert is post and update is put. Okay. And then there's some quota. The YouTube Data API uses a quota to ensure that developers use the service as intended and do not create applications that unfairly reduce service quality or limit access for others. They incur at least, so all of those, everything including invalid requests incurs at least 1 point quota cost. You can find the quota available to your application in the API console. So they'll tell you what the quota is. Maybe if you're a big wheeler and dealer, you could request quota increases from the default quota and stuff like that. And then you can calculate the quota units. It's just in some sort of nondescript quota unit. And then there's partial resources. The API allows and actually requires the retrieval of partial resources so that applications avoid transferring, parsing, and storing unneeded data. This approach also ensures that the API uses network, CPU, and memory resources more efficiently. Okay, so we have like these parts and fields. They enable you to identify the resource properties that should be included with the API responses. So I'm not sure how this works for like a video or a comment, like what is part of a comment. And fields, I don't know, you would need to know like what the payload structure, I assume, but the fields parameter filters the API response to only include specific properties within the requested resource parts. Okay, so here's how to use it. The part parameter is required for any API request that retrieves or returns a resource. The parameter identifies one or more top-level, non-nested resource properties that should be included in an API response. For example, a video resource has the following parts. You can get a snippet, content details, file details, player. I don't know what player is. Maybe like whether it's the HTML5 player or some other, like what player YouTube would use for it. Processing details, recording details, statistics, status suggestions, and topic details. Okay, so those are the things you can ask for a video. I don't think you, I guess, can get the raw video. I'm not sure though. All right, so I'll read this later, but that's some stuff about partial stuff and whatever. So that API is like a little bit more complicated than I thought it would be. Maybe the Discord API will be a little bit simpler. It's not complicated for a Google API, but it's not, you need to know something more than you would need to make like a simple chat bot, for example. Not that you should make a chat or comment bot for YouTube. That's a different thing. That's a spam thing. Okay, so here are the API examples, and I guess they're just organized by language. So let's just open up these randomly. I'm sure that they basically have all the same stuff. I don't know what player is, but they have Python and Python App Engine from back when they were trying to push App Engine, and a README. Okay, so in Go, we have like OAuth. That's, I guess, the OAuth flow. My uploads, errors, quick start, search by keyword, and upload video. And in Java, of course, we have to dig more into the folders. And we have analytics, data, live reporting. So what about analytics? Okay, so we'll look at this analytics in a bit. Do we have analytics in Go? I don't think we do. So I was wise to open up the different languages. Here's JavaScript. We have an analytics code lab, and in fact, CSS and HTML for it, and some authentication stuff. Cores upload. Cores is what? Cross-site stuff? Cross-origin. Resource sharing. And then we also have my uploads, quick start search, and YouTube Analytics V2. And they also have some stuff for create a playlist, upload, etc. Okay, well, will we? Okay, 404, not fine. Fine. And then what is this? This is player. We'll come back to player. Here's Python. You can add a channel section, add a featured video. We'll look at some of these. Add a subscription. Channel bulletin. Sure, why not? Captions. Comment handling, comment threads. Create a broadcast. Create a reporting job. Geolocation search. Like video list, broadcast list streams, my uploads, playlist updates, quick start. Retrieve reports. Search, set watermark, shuffle channel sections. And some other stuff like analytics. Okay, seems like Python is the place to be for the most interesting ones. So where does that leave us? We'll ignore Go. Sorry, Go. This Java thing, I think that we're going to get all the analytics we need out of Python. What do you think? I'll just scroll through this. This is all kind of like we're creating like a reports object and calling methods on it. And this is just, standard Java, but it's kind of like uninformative in the sense that this could basically have been a JSON object. And this method is main. And these are some scopes for the analytics. We have some credential. And I don't know what we're passing in analytics reports here, but we're also passing in the scopes. And then we have this YouTube builder. We're going to say that it's going to use HTTP and something about JSON factories. We're going to give it the credential we got from this auth thing. And we're going to set the application to YouTube Analytics API report example. And then we'll build it. And that will give us some sort of object, I guess, that has like an HTTP client. So that's the YouTube object. And then we'll call the analytics builder, passing in a lot of the same stuff, and build that. And I don't know how these are different. I don't think we're passing in YouTube. This object, oh, here we go. Here's a comment. This object is used to make YouTube Analytics API requests. And this object is used to make YouTube Data API requests. Okay, so two different APIs, the Data API and the Analytics API. And you can construct a request to retrieve the current user's channel ID. So we have some user that we know who we are because we have a credential. And I guess that's probably ultimately the thing that's used to look this up. And Where did I go? Okay, so we're going to list, we're going to, on the YouTube object, we're going to call channels, which should presumably give some sort of channels object, and I guess we'll call a list on it. These are, I guess, the subsets that we're asking for. I forget what, like the part, maybe they called it. We want the ID in the snippet, and we're going to, and that gives us a channel request. And on the request, we're going to say set mine to true, so that it will, I guess, populate the YouTube like username or channel name or channel ID, whatever that's called, with whatever is in the credential. And then we're going to set fields to items ID snippet / title. I don't know. This seems kind of like duplicate information from here, but I don't know. And then we're going to call channel request execute, and that should basically issue a curl command. It's going to send the request, and YouTube's going to respond, I assume. And then we're going to call get items on the response. Okay, so that's Java. Fine. Here's the player thing. Should we look at player? On YouTube, frame API ready. Maybe this is like an embedded player. On playback quality change, you're going to update quality. On playback rate change, you're going to update rate. On playback state change, if the player state is ended, we're going to update all and clear intervals. I don't know what the intervals are, but you can be playing, paused, buffering, or queued. And then we're just going to update some stuff. This is what framework? I don't know. We haven't really imported anything, I guess. And we're going to update the HTML nodes on the page with the most recent values from the YouTube iframe API. Okay. Is it actually going to play a video? Here's the index.html. An iframe player API asynchronously. Okay. So I guess this is some other API. I just open it up. And this is the script URL. And somehow it's going to, I guess, probably embed a YouTube player. But that's not what I came for. So let's move on. So we'll look at a few of these Python ones. Here's add channel section. And we are importing like credentials, OAuth lib, API client discovery, etc. And all right. So we have some clients file, which has the client secret.json. So I guess we're just imagining that we just have the our credentials as a JSON file on disk. And we've got some scopes, and the scope is auth YouTube. The API service name is YouTube, and the API version is v3. And we have some section types, like all playlists, completed events, liked playlists, likes, live events, etc. Then we'll get authenticated service by calling installed app flow. I don't know where that came from. It came from the OAuth lib. From client secrets file. Okay, so this is just some, like Google wrote some code to make it easier for you to use OAuth on their infrastructure. And then we've got this run console thing that might start a console. Like, or maybe, I don't know. But we're going to get some credentials back, and then we're going to call build on some stuff, passing in the API service name, the API version, credentials equals credentials. And then this is just a call to print up enable browse view. So I think that maybe we are getting some sort of UI, but we can list the channels and I guess look at the branding settings and call execute. And then that will give us the channel list response, and we look at the items in it, in particular the first item, which must be the channel. And then we'll look on that channel, look at the brand settings, channel, show browse view equals true. And then we'll call update on the part branding settings and execute. So I guess that maybe we're not getting a UI here. Maybe this is changing the YouTube UI programmatically is what we're doing. And then we have this add channel section. If, so you pass in the YouTube like client object and some args. And if channels is none, Then we look at the args.channels thing, do some regular expression parsing. And then we get some body. Presumably this is going to be the body of the request. And what section are we adding? I don't know if we know that yet. We've got some content details, et cetera, et cetera. And so in this, I guess, the request, we're going to insert the snippet and content details and execute. I don't know if we've added a section yet. I don't think so. But then we're going to go into the main. And we have some arg parsing stuff. So we tell it on the command line what section type we want. And then we get the authenticated service. We try to enable browse view before channel shelves will appear on your channel's webpage. Browse view needs to be enabled. So it's something I guess you update once when you create the channel. So that's what the browse view stuff. And then we're going to call add channel section, passing in the args, and we might get an error. Otherwise, we might add correctly. Okay, so that's relatively simple once you wrap your head around what it is that, the way that YouTube is constructed and what sections are and all of that stuff. Add featured video, I'm sure is pretty much the same thing. So we have the arg parsing has channel ID, video ID, some offset milliseconds to show the video. Why? Maybe that's like where to start it. I don't know if featured videos like could start mid video. And then you can pass in an offset type. You get the authenticated service. You call add featured video. But which, okay. And then you're sending it the video ID to feature on your channel. So this is already some video that's on your channel and you're saying to make it the featured one. Add subscription. I'm guessing you just pass in your channel, you're authenticated for your channel. And then you must pass in some YouTube ID that you want to subscribe to, like channel ID here. Okay. So this is all beginning to make sense. I'm going to kind of skip everything else. Is captions interesting? This looks more complicated. Okay, so it's only complicated because you can pass it different actions to do. So if you pass it the upload action, it'll try to call upload caption. If you pass it the list action, it will call list caption, etc. Okay, that's captions. And then comment handling. What do you want to do? You can delete comment, mark as spam, and I'm guessing you just pass in the comment ID to the command line. So the video, blah, 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 blah. So add argument video ID is the thing that you want the comments, I guess, manipulated. And then the text will be the text that's used for the comment. That's for adding a comment, I guess. All the available methods are used in sequence just for the sake of this example. Okay. So first, we're going to get the parent ID of the first comment, I suppose, or the first comment thread, rather. And then we're going to insert our comment, and then we're going to get the comments, and we're going to update the comment, the first of the one that the first of the first thread, I guess. Then we'll set the moderation status. We'll have to look at what that method does because it doesn't seem that we're passing any particular moderation status. And then we're going to mark it as spam, and then we're going to delete it. So let's see what the moderation status is. Moderation status is published. Okay, so that's, I guess, just publishing it in case you have it set up to hold comments for review. And then that seems like enough. That gives us a sense of what it's like to work with the YouTube API. I don't know what geolocation search is. You can pass in a location with some like latitude and longitude and some radius and some results. And what else are you sending it? So you're going to, I guess, list method to retrieve location details for each video. Add each result to the list and then display the list of matching videos. Okay. And so we're calling YouTube search with args. So I guess you can just say that I want to search for videos in this region. I don't know what it means for a video to be in a region. Maybe just upload. Maybe it's just uploaded from that region. And here's some analytics stuff, which I am curious about. But you can, I guess, download reports, retrieve reports, call the YouTube reporting API's report.list method to retrieve reports. Okay, so this is just, again, there are report objects and you're downloading them. I'm wondering if you can, let's see, this analytics report, is there just straight up analytics? You can execute an API request, passing in the channel IDs, which is, I guess, by default mine, the start date and end date, the metrics you're looking for example, estimated minutes watched, views, likes, subscribers gained. The dimensions, I guess, is day, and you're going to sort by day. So I guess like this is like subscribers gained by day, and you're sorting it by day. And this is an API request, or rather an analytics API request. Okay, so that's moderately helpful. Take a look now at some Discord bots. I think there's like some awesome Discord. Now, this is not so old, about 2 months ago. The one that I saw before was like archived, so maybe this is better to work with. I'm just going to open all of them. I think this is all just the same page. It's just like an index into the table of contents. So we'll open all of them just to be able to quickly go through them. And in addition, let's open the Discord API. The developer portal. So we have some stuff, error messaging, authentication, encryption, snowflakes. I don't know what a snowflake is. I don't know why user needs to worry about encryption, ID serialization. I don't know what that's about. ISO 8601, date time. Consistency, HTTP API, gateway WebSocket API, message formatting, image formatting, uploading files, and locales. And then we have some base URL, which is discord.com/API. And here's some stuff about error messaging. I guess we could have just scrolled through all this. So I guess the authenticating with the Discord API can be done one of two ways: using a bot token found on the bot page, or using an OAuth 2 bearer token. And you just put it in your request header with the authorization thing. I don't know which one's better, bots versus user account. I guess if you're a bot, you should use the bot token. And then encryption is not really important. It just says all HTTP layer services and protocols within the Discord API are using TLS 1.2. Snowflakes is Discord utilizes Twitter's snowflakes formats for uniquely identifiable descriptors. These IDs are guaranteed to be unique across all of Discord, except in some unique scenarios in which child objects share their parent's ID. Because the snowflake IDs are up to 64 bits in size, they are always returned as strings in the HTTP API to prevent integer overflows in some languages. Okay, so you get some snowflake ID broken down. You get some ID, which is a 64-bit integer that I guess has some semantic meaning. I don't know what this means. So there seems to be 64 bits and then 22 bits and then 17 bits and 12. That seems like more than 64 bits. But here's the, I guess, description of snowflake. I don't know how important this is. I'm going to just think of it as an integer. I'm not going to try to reverse engineer some identifier. Okay. Oh, we do get information. Oh, maybe this just means bit 64 is that. And what do we have? We have an increment. For every ID that is generated on the process, the number is incremented. Generated on that process. Okay, so we have a timestamp, an internal worker ID, an internal process, and an increment every time you generate an ID. What is a process in this context? Maybe the Twitter docs will tell me. Are these like identifying things like chats and other things? Snowflake is a network service for generating unique ID numbers at high scale with some simple guarantees. They're moving away from MySQL to Cassandra. Well, they were like 12 or 13 years ago. We've needed a new way to generate ID numbers. There is no sequential ID generation facility in Cassandra, nor should there be. Okay, so this is kind of like, instead of using uints, they have some way of generating integers, which I don't understand the properties of, and I don't know what they're doing, but something. This doesn't seem so fundamentally important. But it is somehow thought through enough that you can generate IDs and not really have to worry about it. Hopefully you as a user don't have to worry about it. We typically use Snowflake IDs for many of our API routes for pagination. Okay, so they're like page tokens. The standard pagination paradigm we utilize is one in which you can specify IDs before and after in combination with limit to retrieve a desired page of results. You will want to refer to the specific endpoint documentation for details. Okay, so you can do some computations on it to ask for like things happening between these two times and whatnot. There's some ID serialization stuff. I'm just going to kind of plow through this because hopefully it's not so important. It may be important, but I want to see more about the HTTP API. It must provide, so your client must provide a valid user agent, which is reasonable. The content type is either application JSON, XWW form URL encoded, or multi-part form data. And if you don't, you will get an invalid form body error. There is some rate limiting in accordance with some RFC, and then there's a rate limit section. We'll open those up in the background, and then there are Boolean query strings. Certain endpoints in the API are documented to accept Booleans for their query string parameters. While there is no standard system for Boolean representation in query string parameters, Discord represents such cases using true. Oh no. Look at all of, are these all accepted by all of them, or is it like API call dependent? So there's uppercase true, lowercase true, or one, and similarly for false. And then there's a like WebSocket API. There's some RFC, and then they utilize a special subset of Markdown for rendering message content on its clients. So that I guess would include things for like comments where you have like a bold section or like a code verbose, or rather verbatim section. So a user is at user ID in these angled brackets. A user star, maybe a pointer to a user, is angle brackets with the at bang user ID. And then we have like channel IDs are preceded by a hash instead of an at symbol. The roles are preceded by an at and an ampersand. Slash commands look like you're terminating an HTML tag. And then emojis are just Unicode emojis. Custom emojis have a name and then an ID like mmlol, and then some ID, some sort of int. I don't know how big the int is. And then for animated IDs, it looks like an HTML anchor tag. But we've got B1NZY, which is, I guess, just the name of this animation. And I guess A stands for animated. I don't know why it's A colon, whereas here it's colon and then the name. I guess just because they needed a way to say animated. So they stuck it before the colon. and then timestamps and guild navigation. I don't know what a guild navigation is. I think I know what a Discord guild is. I don't know what it means to navigate, but we have some like ID customized thing. Okay. And then we have some image formatting stuff, like you can ask for a JPEG, a WebG, a Lottie. I don't know what a Lottie is. And here are some CDN endpoints. So you can ask for emojis and icons, guild icons, some guild splashes, guild banners, etc. The user avatars. These are, I guess, all images and so forth. They support different kinds of formats on the right-hand side here. And you get them from the CDN. I think this is maybe still image stuff. What is this? Signed attachment CDN URLs. Attachments uploaded to Discord CDN, like user and bot uploaded images, have signed URLs with a preset expiry time. I don't know what signed means, but is it assigned? Have signed URLs. Okay, whatever that means. Then you can upload files, and you pass it some JSON or whatever. Okay, so I have a sense now of what they're up to. We can, I think, close all of this stuff. Although, what is this? Oh, this is Snowflake stuff. All right, this is about consistency. We'll just ignore all this. I got a comment on Discord. Move this over. Saying they checked out my channel a while back and was both shocked and amazed to see that there was a channel dedicated to going through code bases. I love the content. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And here's Thengai Manajan. All right, so here's rate limits. So rate limits exist across Discord's APIs to prevent spam. So rate limits exist, blah, 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 blah. I just want to know what the rate limits are. So you get some rate limit header if you're being rate limited. Okay, so there's some rate limit response structure. I just want to know what your, okay, here we go. Global rate limits. All bots can make up to 50 requests per second to our API if no authorization header is provided, then the limit is applied to the IP address. Okay, so if you're not that's kind of weird. You could have like an anonymous bot. Okay, so this is independent of any individual rate limit on a route. If your bot gets big enough, based on its functionality, it may be impossible to stay below 50 requests per second during normal operations. Global rate limit issues generally show up as repeatedly getting banned from the Discord API when your bot starts. See below. If your bot gets temporarily Cloudflare banned from the Discord API every once in a while, it is most likely not a global rate limit issue. You probably had a spike of errors that was not properly handled and hit our error threshold. Okay. And then there's an invalid request limit, aka Cloudflare banned, banned, and so on. Okay. So that's all fine and good. This is something about, what is this? This is the gateway. This is like the web, whatchamacallit? Something. WebSocket. And this is, I guess, some illustration of how the WebSocket communication goes. So you establish some connection, and then there's some fields. There's a hello event, and so on and so forth, and a heartbeat interval. And you have to implement some stuff. I don't know if the request payloads are otherwise the same, other than having to maintain the connection. I guess you can resume a connection and so on. But we're just going to kind of roll through here. What's an intent? Maintaining a stateful application can be difficult when it comes to the amount of data your app is expected to process over a gateway connection, especially at scale. Gateway intents are a system to help you lower the computational burden. Intents are bitwise values passed in the intent parameters when identifying, which correlate to a set of related events. For example, the event sent when a guild is created, guild create, and when a channel is updated, both requires the same guild's one shifted 0 intent. If you do not specify an intent when identifying, you will not receive any of the gateway events associated with that intent. So it sounds really like a subscription. And this is just the WebSocket protocol. Okay. All right. So that's the Discord API, like just a general thing of what it's up to. Let's grab a couple of arbitrary Discord bots. Here's ModMail. Do you care about ModMail? Yeah, sure, let's do it. Red Discord bot. Moderation, games, and music. Karma bot. Karma for user server members. And some, that's fine. Let's look at music. A popular music bot for streaming from YouTube, featuring playlists and so on and so forth. And then there's a beginner-friendly music bot. Here are some multi-purpose bots. More moderation. Moderation, music, and fun. Lightning. Okay, lots of moderation. Utilities. Backup tickets. Managing support tickets. A bot for cross-server chat communication. Pseudobot. And member status. And then there's some libraries to help you create your own bot. And some dashboards. Atlanta bot. Okay. We'll just like grab a couple of these. And these are all just sections of the thing that I opened. Okay. So we'll probably plow through these quickly. I don't know how big these are. I'll open up ModMail in its own frame here. So I guess this is a picture of what? Of maybe what the bot looks like. I don't know if this is on the Discord UI or if it has some other like web UI. But you get some stuff here like Steven number 2806 was created 962 days ago, etc., etc. These are their roles. This bot is pretty cool. I don't know what this means. I don't know if these are like comments that need moderation or what. ModMail is similar to Reddit's ModMail, both in functionality and in purpose. It serves as a shared inbox for server staff to communicate with their users in a seamless way. I guess it's for sending mail to moderators. Is that the idea? That's not what I want, though. Maybe we'll come back to that, but let's see. What I want to do is open up, back up the... I guess you're not going to do that. I want to take a look at some other more like standard. I don't want just messaging. If I'm going to look at moderation stuff, I guess. Is this the same one? I think this is the old one. Web dashboard with advanced moderation and custom commands. Let's see if this Discord bot is still around. The feature-rich Discord bot. Okay, fine. Let's take a look at Dino. Wait, what? Oh. That didn't work the way I wanted to do. I guess those are not open source bots. Those are just any bots. This is an archived one. How about AutoMod? AutoMod is more what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is old, but that's fine. In fact, it's not fine because there's no code. I guess I'll just give up. Let's look at KarmaBot. And so on KarmaBot, we have some sort of README. The source code of this bot is outdated, and I'm not working on the bot currently. This repository will remain archived. That's fine. What language are we in? JavaScript. And we have player events, utils, structures, configs, events, commands, and base. I don't know what's the most important here. presumably events and configs are important. I don't know what structures are. I don't know what player events are. And we have some node script, maybe just for calling node and some loader.js. Functions and permissions. What is this? Trace MOE / API / me. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a Discord URL, but this is something about getting rate limits. And you have this search function. You pass it in a file, and it's going to, I guess, post to this URL, this trace MOE URL, attach an image. Why? And the data is the what? The body of, where did body come from? We got it from by making the request. I guess it's the response body. And then we're going to round similarity by 100 and set the episode to data.episode and then the title from the data stuff. And then we're going to, I guess, fetch the preview. And we're going to check whether it's an adult image. So I guess that maybe this is looking, we're going to post it to this website. And this is some search that's maybe checking whether it's a known image and whether it is a not safe for work image or something like that. Configs we can ignore. Events, we have message. So we're going to export this function, give it a client and message. If the message doesn't have a guild or the message author is a bot, we're going to ignore it. And we'll get the config will be coming from the client, which we passed in as a parameter. And if the message starts with some prefix that is in our config, then we're going to slice and trim and split somehow. Then we're going to shift the lowercase. And I guess that message contains a command because that gives us a command. And we're going to call client commands get. And if that fails, we're going to call client's command get client aliases get. That'll give us a command file. And then we're going to run the command file, passing in the client messages and args. So this is basically, I guess, like you have a script on your drive, and you can call it by sending it a message with a specific formatting. Otherwise, if it doesn't start with prefix, then somewhere we have a DB. I'm not sure where DB came from. I guess we passed it in maybe, although it doesn't seem like we passed it in here. But at any rate, we're going to get the DB, I guess like the chatbot message guild ID. So there's maybe a bunch of databases organized by the guild ID or something. And if we don't get a channel back, then we return. And then we're going to look in the cache, get the channel, and do some checking to see if it's a bot or if the S channel ID is not the message channel ID. I guess just checking that the message came from the appropriate channel. And then we're going to replace the call to everyone with here. So I guess this is like removing the ability to call everyone and replacing it with here instead. And if the message includes an @ symbol, okay, then we're going to say, please don't mention anyone. Please don't mention anyone at all. And then we're going to set that we're starting to type. Then we'll say, please say something. And then we're going to fetch some, whatever delta coder.repl, etc. is. We're going to send a request there and get some stuff back, and then we'll stop typing. So we're using a lot of like third-party URLs. I don't know if these are controlled by the KarmaBot developer, but this is kind of insane to me. It's because if you're using this bot, then you're sending all sorts of data to third-party URLs that you have no control over. And if this weren't open source, you wouldn't really know that unless you were monitoring your traffic carefully. So we have the structures. I guess there's client and database. We'll ignore those. Player events. We have things like queue end, search cancel, errors, bot disconnect, etc. Track start. Okay. So I don't really know. This is no longer being maintained. And here's its README, which I didn't look at before. Okay, so the player is like the music player. You can play, skip, queue, etc. You can get information. There's some anime stuff. And so on. I don't think I saw anime. Let's look for anime. Okay, it's under commands. So we have this anime.js command. And if there's no text, you say, please give me something. If the text length is bigger than 0, you say that the text limit is 200. And then otherwise, we'll say we're searching for something. We're going to replace, I guess, I don't know. We're going to replace something. I'm guessing this is is this just quoting? Replacing spaces with quoted spaces. Then we'll await message.delete. I don't know why we're deleting it. And then we're going to create anime and embed variables. And then anime will await scraper get info from name on replaced. I guess the replaced is the new message. That's why we deleted MSG. And then we're going to create a new message embed with an embed color from the config, the URL from the anime URL, and we'll set the title, synopsis, etc., etc. I don't know. Okay, scraper. So I don't know where this scraper thing came from, but I guess we're scraping anime from somewhere. Mal scraper. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's another project. Maybe I can spell it correctly. Scrape everything you can from my anime list. Okay. Huh. All right. So they're scraping from some existing anime site, and they're just using a bunch. They're kind of tying together a bunch of existing URLs and stuff. I'm trying to open up the thing I accidentally just closed. So I don't need Karma Bot anymore. I guess we'll just look at Atlanta Bot. This bot is used by more than 130,000 Discord users and more than 800 servers. Again, it's in JavaScript. And it's an open source Discord bot coded in JavaScript with Discord.js and Mongoose. Okay, so you can support for commands, indirect messages, support for translations, guild configuration, commands made pleasant thanks to the many emojis. I don't think that makes it pleasant, but you can play music and stuff and whatnot. And I guess there's a powerful dashboard, a powerful one. And it looks like this. This looks like true power. And I don't know what you're selecting. The CoinPub Palladium bot. Atlanta, maybe these are guilds that you're part of. Atlanta emojis. Maybe these are like plugins or something. Here's your profile. This is ranking. I don't know what money and all that stuff is. All right, so I don't know what this selector thing is. And but we have like rankings configuration. Maybe these are different different things you can add. And I just closed it again by accident. And okay, so we'll look at a little bit of its code. And we have commands, dashboard, and base, and events. Okay, and in commands, we have like administration, economy. So this is maybe what the money stuff is. Fun, general, images, moderation, music. The dashboard has auth. Are they rolling their own auth? You can check auth. If the original URL requires login, the original URL or it's slash or selector something about the original URL, then we're going to create a random number, which is the state. Set the client states at that state to a redirect URL and redirect you to the login page. I don't know what's with the random number. But I assume that maybe they're using some other existing auth stuff. Hopefully. I don't know. We're in here. Hopefully they're using an existing like whatchamacallit? Express app. Yeah. Let's see. I'm guessing Express has login stuff. Okay, that's fine. Here's base. We have Atlanta command guild log member. Atlanta has, I don't know what this stuff is. This is like setting different times. Relative time threshold S is 60, I guess seconds. SS is 5. I don't know what that means. 60 minutes, 60 hours, 24, I guess, hours in a day, etc. And 12 months, I assume, in a year. And then here's some constructor. Require, etc., etc. Database, cache. And so we have some database. And we just in the big like switch statement or something. No, it's a constructor, I guess. And then this, I guess, is registering a like a callback. This player on track start, given a message in track, we'll say message success. I guess if you successfully get a message, we'll set the music/play now playing the song name in the track title. And that's when you receive a message from the track start. So whatever music player we're using on the back end is like, I guess, sending out messages, and we're just kind of like passing them along to the Discord bot. And you can print date, convert time, and so on. Unload command. To unload a command, you need to apply them again. Find or create user, and so on. I don't know what we're using for playing. Discord player. Maybe this is an existing thing. Yeah, some other repo, I guess. Okay. And then we have some events like guild, create, guild, delete. This is pretty involved to create a Discord bot. Economy, we have the economy has achievements, birth date, marry, a leaderboard, and money. So how does money work? We have a constructor. You can run, passing in a message, args, and data. Then we'll try to resolve the member, I guess, within the guild. And if the user is a bot, then that's wrong. Then we'll get the member data. And I guess get more guild stuff. The global money will start at 0. Then for each commons guild cast as an array, given the guild, then we will find or create the member to get member data. And then we'll look at the member data money and increment it. But I don't know how the members got money in the first place. This seems like we're totaling money that already exists. Does Discord have money? Make money online. How to make money on Discord. Okay. So I don't know where the money came from. I'm not really going to track it down. You can pay. I guess probably it came from paying. Economy/pay invalid member. Okay, so you've got some database and you just record how much money you gave them, I think is what's going on. And what is fun? We'll just look at what the sort of stuff that's in fun. 8-ball. Maybe like the magic 8-ball. Find words, image, joke, love calc, and number. We'll look at a few of these. And then in general, we have something about Fortnite and Fortnite Shop. I'm not sure what we're doing. Something about a Fortnite API key. I guess this is some sort of integration for like accumulating Fortnite stats via Discord. This is the music stuff, which I think is mainly just using an external program. And 8-ball is doing what? I guess you ask it a question and it gives you a response. And it randomly says yes or no. Sounds good. And love calc is what? We are what? You give it 2 users, and then somehow where's percent? We're gonna hash their names, I guess. And given the hash of their names, we're gonna pretend that that's their love compatibility or something. And then whatever number is probably not so cool. Although something about not safe for work, something about cooldown. And we look in games. And we start number, games start. I'm not really sure what this is doing, but I guess I don't really care enough to look at it. Something about money. Fun number big, fun number small. I don't know how not safe for work impacts the number game. I guess maybe it's just saying that this game is not safe for work or something. All right, something about big numbers and small numbers and maybe guessing them. Okay, so those are different games it looks like you can play. And then the last thing let's look at is Socioboard, which I think is seems to be possibly dead. No, updated 23 days ago. But it looks like most of the work is a few years old. I guess they have a website. And the idea here, I think, is just to manage your different social media accounts in kind of a self-hosted way. I'm not sure if the website exists anymore. And this is in what? JavaScript. I don't know what Blade is. HTML, PHP, SCSS, and CSS. What is Blade? Maybe a JavaScript thing? Blade. A modern general-purpose programming language based on enterprise web, IoT, secure application development. What? A simple, fast, clean, and dynamic language that allows you to develop applications quickly. I've never heard of this thing. Introducing the Blade programming language. It has a website. I just kind of want to see what it's about. Am I not online? I am. I guess these websites maybe just don't exist. Was it Blade Lang? Let's see if it's on the archive. Okay. Let's open that up. And let's also look up, what is it, Socioboard? See if that's on the archive. Don't do that. Hey, didn't I open you? Let's spell that correctly. It seems like it hasn't been archived since 2022, so it's like an old project, I think. And then here's the Blade language. It doesn't seem it doesn't seem like there's anything here. It's gone crazy. It's some sort of language that I'm not sure is even about. Oh, maybe it's saying that it doesn't like robots, robotum. Here's Socioblade. And you have your Facebook account, your Twitter, now X account, and Instagram, and whatever this Fire account thing is, and the play button. Is that YouTube? I'm not sure. And then Pinterest. And you get some sort of graphs. And you have a calendar view. Features you will fall in love with. Save time with flexible scheduling. Create, plan, and schedule your content when your users are most actively engaged. Make your own publishing schedule seamlessly. And then you have an RSS feed. Manage multiple accounts with ease. Stay ahead with top-class analytics. Okay, I mean, this looks like a good feature set. It seems like it's not open anymore. That may be because all of these social media sites kind of closed down their APIs when LLMs became a thing. I'm not sure. I guess you'd have to pay for each API access, whereas maybe you didn't have to before. Then here's the Blade language. It just looks like JavaScript. The Blade language. Quick language overview. I don't know why they're using this. It's got some REPL. You can run a script. I don't know. It seems like very JavaScripty. First class package management. Okay. All right. Whatever Blade is, it's here. And then the Socioboard API, we have the blah, blah, blah. We'll look at the Socioboard API, the web API. They've got some Ansible stuff, I guess, for deploying. I'm curious. Many problems with installation. Is this project still maintained? Let's see if let's do an issue search for API. Facing issues related to the Facebook API. Can't add social account except YouTube, but cannot publish. Yeah, it seems like this has been abandoned, and it may be because these APIs closed down. But we're going to look at the code anyway. So here's the API. Here's this GitHub issue. There's a new project, a few months old. I don't know, but we'll look at Socioboard. Okay, so they have an API and a web PHP thing. I guess the web PHP thing is maybe the dashboard. You have admin, chat, common, feeds, notification, publish, update, user. So a lot of this is going to be straightforward. Publishing and updating will be, straightforward. Common and feeds, that might be where the hard part here is getting all of the different APIs into one common language. And then once you have that common language, I guess essentially treating it like an RSS feed that you can update. So the thing that I want first is to find out how they're handling getting all the APIs together. And so let's see if we can find that. Feeds, common, core, middleware, maybe middleware, resources, and tests. We'll look at common and core. I don't know how those are different. There's some authentication middleware, recent visited middleware, upload middleware, and core. Core has Bitly. This looks like what I want. Bitly, Facebook feeds, Instagram feeds, LinkedIn feeds, RSS feed, Pinterest, Medium, Trends, Tumblr feeds, Twitter feeds, We'll just open these all. And by all of them, I mean a subset of them. And then we have a controller, routes, service, and validate. I don't know what. Okay, so we have Facebook like, Facebook comment. And then we're calling out to the feeds controller. Let's look at the feeds controller. You have this Swagger comment, Facebook like, and we're going to call, so for, it looks like we're delegating to whatever the Facebook service, the feed service is, get Facebook feeds, feed service, Facebook like, etc. This is basically doing nothing. So where's the feed service? From import feed service from Facebook feeds service.js. Okay, and we can get Facebook feeds. You pass in a request, a res, and a next. And I guess it's just somehow, whoever's calling this, it's their job to have the request maybe in the proper format. And we're going to call validate account ID team ID. I don't know what team ID is. And we're going to validate error response, whatever that means. And user team accounts get social account. Whatever 123 is, passing in an account ID. Where did that come from? Here. No, this is passed in here. Somewhere. And then some user scope ID. Some stuff about a page limit. And we have a new Facebook Mongo post model. And then we're going to call it get social account posts. Social account details, social ID, offset, etc. And then there's like response handling. So what does that mean? There's this feedslib Facebook like, validate error response, validate like post. I don't see where the Facebook API is actually called. So let's try doing a search for facebook.com. This looks promising. This is for publishing. I don't know what this unauthorized stuff is. There's an email template, social account services, or social account service rather. I think that these are all going to be the same. All these feeds. I think these feeds are possibly a dead end, but maybe the team model is where I want. And so this function is what? Get profile redirect URL. Checking the user belongs to the team or not. So we're going to like look in some database, I guess, to see if they're on a team. And then we just have a switch statement. And if the network is set to Facebook, the string Facebook, then we're going to look at the scopes and see if it includes one, the literal one. I guess one maybe is Facebook. Then we get a redirect URL, which is this facebook.com version 3.3 dialog, OAuth response type equals code and redirect URI equals encode URI component, get profile add redirect URL with the client, etc. And then we're going to populate a result JSON with the message navigated to Facebook with navigate URL, set the redirect URL, and the state is encrypted state. I don't know where encrypted state came from, presumably up there. So that's if the network is Facebook. But the network might also be Facebook page or Facebook group, which have different URLs. And they all have the scope 1. Instagram business has the scope 12. And it is also a Facebook URL with a scope, Instagram business account scopes. So it seems like all of the different stuff, which I would have expected to be in a bunch of different files that you could, for example, test the code, is all in this giant switch statement. And they have these hard-coded user scopes that correspond to things like Twitter versus Facebook versus Instagram business or whatever that one was. And this is kind of a crazy way of organizing the app, but at least you can kind of see what the individual implementations are, I guess, is the one virtue of this. And I'm kind of surprised that any of this works. So somehow we're like sending. I don't know how the OAuth is working. I don't know. So I guess it comes with a response request token. So where's the, okay, so response is, oh no, we're going to call the function request token, which is defined here. I guess let's click on it. And we have, okay, so in cluster, we have Twitter cluster, twitter.cluster.js. We have twitter.prototype.request token. And I guess we're going to request some sort of token, presumably from Twitter. Possibly we have credentials stored somewhere. Here's some credential stuff. Add Twitter profile by invite. We pass in a request token, a request secret, and a verifier. And so where's this? What else is happening with the secret? It's going in some like JSON thing. I don't know if this is like the plain text secret or if this is encrypted. I don't know if it's getting stored in the database or what. But let's look more at cluster. Chat services. This chat microservice folder is like, it will handle the different socket services, types of services, team notifications, publish notifications, etc. What? I don't know what any of this is. So there's some cluster stuff. I don't know how it's different from the other stuff. Here we have at least separate classes. So class TikTok. We're going to fetch user details and create social profile object for DB. So we'll, I guess, store in the database something indicating the TikTokness. And we'll also give it the remote service type, the team ID, the team for which the account will be added. So I guess Socioboard, you can have different teams, like maybe it's not just managing a bunch of different social media accounts. It's like multi-tenant support for social media accounts. And you have this add TikTok profile. We're going to call it get profile access token on the code. And then we're going to call this get user info, etc. And so let's see what happens with secrets. Let's see, we have request secret, Google API secret. Here's a config. Okay, so the Google config, I guess, we have this Google API secret as a like an environment variable. And this is what? JQ? I'm not sure what this is doing. This is either setting, I guess, or getting the API secret. It's either getting it from this environment variable, I think, or setting it to the environment variable. And so on. .Facebook API app ID equals A. And setting it, I guess, that into the config. LinkedIn API secret, etc. So I guess you put the secrets in environment variables. Is that the idea? So those can be, I guess, injected somehow. Let's look at issues. Let's look up password. Let's ask ChatGPT what this code is doing. I just don't know the syntax of whether it's setting or getting. We'll grab the Google one, I guess. What does this code do? So the while loop continues as long as the Google API key and the config.json object is not null. And then this divot extracts the value of the Google API key from the JSON. And the shell variables are environment variables that must be set beforehand. The values are inserted into the config.json. Okay, so that's what I was asking. So we are looking in the shell variables. I guess that's how they handle storing the secrets is in shell variables. And that's in Docker. But what about outside of Docker? I guess I didn't realize that was in the Docker thingy. Login controller. That's in PHP stuff. Here's some cache stuff. And some development configuration. I don't know. I'm guessing that, yeah, so here. I think in general that we're just using environment variables to store secrets. And that's fine. I guess, is there really anything else I want to see about that? Well, we've been here for a while. First of all, we've been here maybe for about an hour and a half. And since Socioboard is, it seems like it's no longer being developed. And since it does seem like a project like this is probably much harder now that the APIs are closed off. But at least we have a sense of like what they are, what they're up to, which is that there's a big switch statement, and that's where like the different URLs of like Facebook or whatever are encoded, and then we grab secrets from the environment variables, put them into like a JSON, like a JSON config. And then we like stuff all that stuff that we pull down into a database, and we have some way of enumerating over it. I don't know what this mongoose stuff is. Mongoose JS. Yeah, okay. So mongoose is MongoDB stuff. But let's look at, so this is like, I guess, looking into your MongoDB thing for Twitter posts probably. But there will be some code that like, when you ask for posts from Twitter, I guess you're going to OAuth, authenticate there, grab the posts. The posts should mostly be like some text format, I guess, with some JSON metadata. And there will be like glue code for each of those formats, figure out what the appropriate like Socioboard format is. And then there will be code for like scheduling and all of that stuff. So I guess that's really all I wanted to get out of it. And it is probably not worth digging too much deeper into it since it's no longer actively developed. So I think I'll stop it there. It seems like all of these, like the YouTube API, the Discord API, they're a little bit less trivial than I thought they would be. It's totally manageable to write a bot. You have to think about what features you would really want in your bot. But at the end of the day, you've got some API, you have to authenticate to it, and then you have to figure out what the right requests and responses are. And then once you kind of have that set up, it's the sky's the limit as far as to what other functionality you want to build around that, as long as you stay within the request limits. And that, I think, is all for now. Thanks for watching.